Welcome to Stupid Money. Not that money is stupid. Most of us would love to have more of it, but sometimes we make stupid decisions with it. You don't have to. This is the show that unpacks how to stop making stupid decisions so you can be smarter with your money and have a happier, fulfilled life. Join us today as we take a look at physical health. Welcome to Stupid Money. I'm Diana and I'm here with John and Vivian. And John, how about we start with you? What's a crazy, stupid thing we do with our money?
Paying a penalty for not hitting the tax return deadline.
Oh, yeah. We have a whole year to prepare for it.
That's right.
Now, granted, sometimes they're a little more complicated, but we should be planning ahead. Plan our keyword. Vivian, what about you?
Going out to eat just to socialize with your friends.
Can't miss a party.
Can't miss a party.
But it's so hard because sometimes in a work setting, it's the thing to go out to work, so you don't really want to bring your little lunchbox and join everybody at the restaurant. Be different, be bold.
Be bold.
And make it a culture to move away from just eating.
Yes, eating out.
Let's go take a hike together.
You would be surprised how much weight you gain just by eating out.
That's another point.
Altogether different.
So our episode today is all about health. But what in the world does that have to do with money?
Sickness costs money. When you are sick, you are missing work. And from an HR perspective, that costs money. It costs you money, it costs the industry money. Sickness costs. And then when you're sick, the healthcare cost is just constantly rising. It has actually been shown that healthier people spend 38% less on their healthcare costs.
It's almost 40%.
It's amazing.
It is.
But it's achievable. Healthiness is achievable.
So you're telling me that the only thing between me and good health are excuses?
Excuses.
Now, excuses is another word for no.
Ooh, burn.
Look, your body is the temple. Why do we have an excuse to take care of our body that God has made? Or let me put it this way. Do I want money or do I want health? I'm going to choose health every single time.
It's a good thing we're here, John, because I want both.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, good. Let's unpack that. But before we do, let's hit the streets and discover what people had to say on health.
What do you do to stay healthy?
Besides walking dogs every day, have pretty much vegetables and fruits throughout the day.
I try to eat as healthy as possible. I'm a vegetarian. And also I try to exercise as much as possible.
It's really nice to meet you this way. I have a couple of questions here. What do you consider the best type of exercise?
I think the best type of exercise is the kind where you can have fun and you enjoy it.
Are you having fun?
I am. It looks like fun, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
At least for me personally, I think mental health is more important than physical health, although obviously they're both important. So I would say things like, mindfulness and meditation is really important.
I go running every now and then, try to use a boxing bag, stay in shape.
I drink a lot of wine and Prosecco.
Okay, and if you do that to stay healthy, how much does that cost?
A lot.
Well, it can cost quite a bit depending on if you're using a gym membership or, I guess, food in particular, if you're buying fresh produce.
It costs a little money. I mean, you have to pay to have time at the pool. So I spend about, I would say, about $100 a month for renting a pool, being part of a team, and so forth.
Depends on how fancy you want to be with it. I think you could do a lot of self-care routines on a very small budget, depending on, where you're at in your own life. But I mean, if you want to be really fancy with it, a gym membership and all those expenses can really add up.
Which would you rather spend your money on, junk food or exercise?
Exercise.
Exercise every day of the week.
Well, me personally, I'm trying to be healthier, so I would prefer to spend my money on either gym memberships or healthy food.
Exercise. and a little bit of junk food.
Your head's going to be close to the ground. Yep, so sink your weight into it and legs wide. Go into a V. Beautiful.
Oh, cool.
Nicely done, and don't forget to breathe. So, friend,
Hi.
would you rather spend your money on this or junk food?
I think I'd take junk food.
Well, let me bring you out of this.
John, was that you hanging upside down? What was that about?
I did try that. They talked me into that. But if aerial yoga upside down is exercise, count me out.
Not so fun.
It was blood rushing to my head.
It was a bit of a rush. Our topic today is on health. Where in the world do we start with that?
When I was a kid, I was watching black and white TV. And there was this guy on there. His name was Jack LaLanne.
I remember him.
Have you ever seen jumping jacks, back and forth?
Yeah, I love them.
Those jumping jacks are named after Jack LaLanne.
Really?
He is the father of all your modern day fitness centers. He had the best quaint philosophy. Exercise is king, diet is queen, and you put them together and you have a kingdom.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
What's interesting, exercise can prevent cardiovascular disease, and diet can prevent cancer, the two leading causes of disease in our culture.
Well, John, I went to my doctor and she told me that I was gaining just a little bit of weight every year. And if I continued on that road, that I would get in trouble with heart disease and diabetes. And she asked me my family history, and I have family history of high blood pressure. So I decided that I was going to do something about it, but it was a little bit difficult. And this physician came to our church and he gave us the 40-day challenge. And
now, what is that?
Well, it's a little bit difficult, but what you do is for 40 days, you're going to change your diet, you're going to add exercise, you're going to add water, drinking water, which some people don't do.
Oh, hello.
No cardboard?
No cardboard. So for 40 days, you're going to do this with prayer, and you have prayer partners. And I did that for 40 days. You're eliminating meat, you're eliminating dairy, you're eliminating sugar, and it's all fresh food.
So while you're getting ready to enter this, are you like, oh, I'm about to be deprived?
I did. I felt like I was going to just die at first, the first week. And there's a lot of preparation you have to do. But I did it for 40 days. Then I did it for 50 days. Then I did it for...
You continued it?
I continued it. And
What
now,
does that do to you?
What makes you feel a lot better, your digestive system, it feels a lot better, you're clearer. So it makes you really feel good.
So you came from a mindset of, this is a model of deprivation. I'm not going to have enough. This is going to be torture. To you extended it because you felt alive.
Yes, I did.
So you transitioned to a model of abundance.
Yes, and my doctor was just shocked when she saw me the next time.
I bet you're like the perfect patient. The patient that does
resets your whole body metabolism.
It does. It resets your body clock.
Vivian, I tried resetting my body clock one time.
You did?
Yeah, I started running because I did a lot of hiking and I had to get in shape. And then I decided I'm going to train for a marathon. So I was really working hard at this. And then I pulled a muscle. And I went to the doctor. He gave me some NSAIDs.
What is that?
It's a muscle relaxant.
Okay.
And so I was taking that. I was conducting a finance seminar in a church in a little tiny town, and I got this huge nosebleed.
Oh, no.
I went to the hospital for a week with a nosebleed. And then they said, you've got a problem. You've got heart palpitations. And they hooked me up to IVs, and they said, if you need something for pain, push this button. And I'd push that button, and wow, did that ever feel good? And then they said...
We're not encouraging that, though.
No. Then I ended up on the table with a heart catheterization surgeons and people, and they said, okay, we're going to try a new experiment on you. We're going to go through your wrist. And so they found nothing. I have no history, no relatives have heart problems. I get home, I get staph infection.
Oh, my.
And I was just trying to stay healthy.
You were just trying to stay healthy. What were you? So you were running every day?
I was running every day. I was really pushing it way too hard.
Yeah, you were pushing.
Body needs rest when you're training like that.
It does. So you got out of balance. Your body needs rest. And so you're doing too much. I have a story that's just the opposite. I had ankle surgery. And with this ankle surgery, I was told to exercise it to do some therapy. And I did that. And it came around the time that I needed to go to Africa for a mission trip.
Oh,
my
fun.
ankle was still hurting, and I just didn't think I was going to make it. They told me, oh, don't worry about it. Everything is right in one location. You won't have to walk. Everything is right together.
Yeah, right.
Not. We had to walk, 6 African blocks. They're longer than our blocks, so I'm serious. Every day, both ways, going and coming. The first 2 days, my husband was gracious enough to get a cab, but after that, he said, no, you're gonna have to walk. And that walking for 3 weeks actually healed my ankle.
So in your case, you needed to exercise, but you hadn't, it was a little painful still. You didn't want to do it.
Your body is designed to heal itself if you just do your part.
Cooperate with it.
Science will tell you walking is the best exercise. And what I've also found amazing, it will also increase memory. I think I need to go for a walk.
Well, you know, I have not had a chance to walk for a week now, and I think that's what's going on.
Just maybe. I love hanging out with you guys. You both are so real. Like, these stories come from your life experiences. Join us for more after this break.
Hello, I'm Danilo. And I'm Victor. On today's Money Hack, we're going to discuss one way to save money when buying a computer. A relevant topic. There are a lot of computer options out there these days. Desktops, laptops, tablets, and even phones. And there are a lot of ways to save money. What is an easy way for people to save a significant amount of money when purchasing a computer?
Well, first, you can buy a refurbished computer.
What does that mean?
A refurbished computer is a computer that is returned for any reason and cannot be resold as new.
So what are some of the reasons these computers are returned?
Well, it might be due to a defect, but it just as likely could be that the customer simply didn't like it.
But I don't want to buy something that's risky. I want to buy something that's reliable and stress-free.
Don't worry. When you buy a refurbished computer from the manufacturer, they inspect all the parts and replace anything that's not working. They even provide a warranty, just as if it were new. Though, you will probably want to double check, just to make sure.
So you're basically saying that it's just as reliable as buying a computer brand new?
Yep.
So how much do you save when you buy a refurbished computer?
Usually around 15 to 20%, depending on the computer. So if it's a $1,000 computer, you'll most likely save between $150 to $200. And if it's a more powerful computer in the $2,000 range, then you'll probably save about $200 to $400.
That's some serious dough.
Serious dough.
Wow, so you're saying most people could probably save about $200 on a computer if they bought refurbished?
That's right. You could do a lot with $200.
Yeah, you could buy 10 pet hamsters.
Or 200 candy bars.
Or 400 forever stamps.
Or you can upgrade the graphics card on your computer.
Now we're talking. No matter what you do with the money you save by buying a refurbished computer, it will feel good to have that money in your pocket.
Or in your 401k.
Right. Thanks, Victor. And thanks for joining us on today's Money Hack.
I want to be healthy. What about you? Well, let's see what Dave and his friend Clyde, the talking dodo bird, have to say about health in the next episode of Stewardship for Dummies.
Clyde, I've noticed you've been putting on a little weight lately. Where have you been eating?
So fat.
So fat? What kind of restaurant is that?
A Chinese restaurant. And they have the most delicious grasshopper desserts you'll ever eat.
From where I stand, you need to lay off those grasshopper desserts.
But they're so good.
Yeah, and they're so fattening. That's why in your case, I think they need to change the name.
What do you mean?
In your case, the name So Fat needs to be Lose Fat.
You're not being very nice.
Well, Clyde, you really need to start thinking about eating healthier.
Why should I?
Well, you've heard people say that you are what you eat.
Yeah, okay. So I'm tart grasshopper now. Big deal. They jump, I fly. We're a good team.
Clyde, I think you're missing the total picture.
What? Now you're gonna take my picture? You gonna put it on Facebook?
No. Post office wall, maybe.
Just make sure they get my good side.
Clyde, I have a question for you. What will eat a fly?
A fly? Nothing eats a fly.
No, frogs loves flies. So what will eat a frog? A snake.
A snake?
Yes. So what will eat a snake? A hog.
You mean a hog will eat a snake?
Yes, and so what will eat a hog?
I'm afraid to hear this one.
A human.
Duh, that's sick.
Well, it may be, but what this all means is that when you have a bacon, a lettuce, and tomato sandwich, you have a fly, a frog, a snake, and a hog all inside your belly.
Do you?
What?
What do grasshoppers eat?
A leaf, I guess.
Oh, praise the Lord, grasshoppers are vegetarians.
Well, so am I.
You don't eat grasshoppers?
No, I don't eat meat of any kind.
I can imagine the cows and chickens are glad to hear that.
Well, I believe, Clyde, that we all should try to eat as healthy as possible. And I also don't think we should smoke and drink alcohol.
My cousin Ralph Dodo got stopped last week for FWI.
FWI?
Yeah, flying while intoxicated.
What happened?
They took his wings away from him.
His wings?
Yeah, you know, his license.
Oh, those wings.
Yeah. You know, David, what you say does make a little sense.
I'm glad to hear you say that. So what are you going to do now?
Well, that's easy to answer.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm not going to eat flies, frogs, snakes, and hogs anymore.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you say you're going to stop eating all those. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to stick with eating grasshopper desserts for lunch at Soul Fats.
What?
Our guest today, Mario, is a doctor from sunny Southern California. He has a fascinating health story about crisis and redemption. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
Welcome back. I'm John Mathews, and this is Stupid Money. We're continuing to talk about the topic of physical health and money, how it relates. And with us today, we have Dr. Mario Robinson. You know, Dr. Robinson, doctors can make a lot of money. Some do that, some focus their attention on mission, so it's all over the place. Tell me your story.
Well, John, thank you for having me. My story starts as a preacher's kid. Like a lot of preacher's kids do, when they graduate high school, they choose to do pre-med, and I decided to dedicate my life to medicine. Through the years, I was very successful, but I actually lost my health through disruptive living. And it was through natural remedies that I was able to regain my health. What's interesting about my story is that through regaining my physical health, I found God.
Tell me a little bit about that experience.
I've been gaining the world through the first part of my career, and I think God put a stop to that and wanted me to listen. And through simple remedies, although I practiced more what appeared to be more intelligent remedies, surgeries and medications, simple remedies like plants were actually what healed me. And I felt a sense of gratitude like I'd never felt in my whole life, that He, and it was only He, that helped regain my health. Okay. And it was through that physical healing that I burgeoned spiritually.
Getting to know the Lord is certainly a very impactful thing on our life. Like in this process, did you lose weight? Were you able to think clearer? Or
I'd actually made all the mistakes in the life. I was married, divorced. I was weighing over 300 pounds. And the Lord saw that I was not being a very good steward with my body, but through our health message and following what that is, I was able to lose over 60 pounds and regain a revived energy, an enormous amount of energy that I could use in His service.
So you gave your life to Christ. Did your business continue on? Were you working harder, or did you make adjustments?
Well, what ended up happening was, at that period of time, my medical group ended up growing, and they required more of my services to meet the needs of the members in my group. And as I look back, I realized that with this newfound energy, had I had the energy that I had prior to that, I would have never been able to give more to my patients that was required of me. And yes, you know, the Lord has blessed me in many ways, but what I've realized is equally as important as as money to make a living is the time that he gives us, a renewed sense of time and urgency.
When you were at your lowest point of ill health, how did you feel? How did that make you feel?
You know, John, when you're alone, you're divorced, you're young, you're just starting out a career, you think you're on top of the world, but you also realize that your body is a limited resource, and if you're a poor steward with it, you suffer the consequences. And I never blamed God. I knew I had put this on myself.
Just kind of out of control.
It was out of control, and it was a life that I thought I could live on my own, my way. And my way wasn't his way, and it led me down the wrong road.
Is it possible that people could save money by living healthy?
You know, I believe the answer to that is yes. I've experienced it in my own life, and I try to promote that in my patients' life. But what I focus is on their mind. They have to realize that there needs to be a reallotment of their resources, because sometimes they say, well, eating organic or eating raw fruits and vegetables is more expensive. Well, it is more expensive potentially, but in the long run, saving your health, medications, seeing your doctor, saving time is areas that you'll actually save money.
Yeah, that's good. Research seems to bear that out, that people that are healthy, they actually save money.
And are happier.
And are happier. All right, I got one more question. What is the craziest thing you've ever done with money?
I've done several crazy things, John, but I'd probably have to say, without going into specifics, gambling lots of money away.
Lots of money? How, can you tell me how much?
There are several zeros, multiple zeros that go on.
Okay. What, was this in some place where they have casinos and all this kind of stuff?
You know, it was, and that was part of my previous life. And what I realized in retrospect was gambling away money was the same thing I was doing with my health. I gambled away something that really wasn't mine. And at that point I realized God gives us talents, including our health, including our money and our time, and it's what we do with them that really matters to him.
That's a good point. You know, when I was a kid, my dad, he said, don't play the slot machines, and they called them one-armed bandits back then. So I'm a little kid. I go up and pull the lever, and I hits the jackpot, and he wouldn't let me take that money. And I thought, this is not a good way to teach a kid how to not play the slot machine. So I got another question. I come to you, and viewers are watching. What advice would you give to them about health and money, or just give us a punch?
What I'd have to say, John, is that I believe Jesus is coming soon. And that knowledge gives time a certain sense of urgency. And it's not so much that he's coming soon. We need to realize that he can come today into our hearts. And when that happens, he will guide you into healthier ways to use your money, healthier ways to use your body, and healthier ways to use your time as well.
You're a living testimony of that.
I praise him.
So, thank you so much for joining us, and may the Lord bless you in your practice.
Thank you, John.
This is Stupid Money. We'll be back right after the break.
Welcome back to Stupid Money. Wasn't that interesting? A doctor got to share from his own health story.
What I liked is Christ was the person that made the change in his life.
That's so true.
You know, we need to have a strategy for ourselves. For example, for sleep. You go 24 hours without sleep, you've passed the drunk driving limit.
We need one for stress as well. Too many people have this retail therapy going on.
Oh, true that.
What's retail therapy?
Just shopping because they're stressed.
Oh, we really do need a strategy for that.
Yes,
we do.
You know, in 3 John verse 2, I want to paraphrase it. God wants us to prosper and be in health.
It says and be in good health.
Be in good health.
That's right.
Thank you for that reminder, Vivian. Basically what we said is that if we invest in healthy habits today, we are more likely to have a better quality of life longer, and maybe even a little more money to boot. Plan on joining us again for another episode of Stupid Money.